Hey there and welcome. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a tiny but incredibly powerful part of your body, the thyroid gland. We're going to walk through this simple blood test that can tell you so much about your health. So let's dive right in. So let me ask you something. Are you just feeling drained all the time, no matter how much you sleep? Or maybe you've noticed your weight creeping up or down for no good reason. What about your moods? Feeling a little all over the place? It's so easy to just chalk this stuff up to modern life.
But what if those feelings aren't random? What if they're actually signals from your body's master regulator? Yep, we're talking about the thyroid. It's this small gland in your neck, but wow, it has a huge job. It controls your metabolism, your energy, basically your body's whole balancing act. It is an absolute powerhouse.
Okay, so that brings us to the big question. Why even bother testing your thyroid? Well, it all comes down to one really important thing: catching problems early and being proactive about your own health.
See, regular testing is just so important. If you already know you have a thyroid issue, it's how you and your doctor keep your treatment on track. But even if you just have a hunch something is off, getting tested gives you power. It gives you real data so you can make smart choices and stop a small issue from becoming a big one.
And trust me, you don't want to ignore these signals. The stakes are actually pretty high. If an underactive thyroid, or hypothyroidism, goes untreated, it can lead to some serious heart problems down the line. And on the other side of the coin, an overactive thyroid, hyperthyroidism, can weaken your bones, maybe even leading to things like osteoporosis. A simple test can help you dodge these major health bullets. All right, so let's say you're getting the test. What in the world are the doctors even looking for in your blood? Let's meet the key players here, the hormones that tell the real story of what your thyroid is up to. First up, you've got TSH. That stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. The easiest way to think about TSH is like it's the manager. It doesn't come from your thyroid, it actually comes from your brain, and its whole job is to tell the thyroid, hey, speed up, or whoa, slow it down. That's why it's usually the very first thing doctors look at. So who's listening to the manager? That would be T4 or thyroxine. This is the main hormone your thyroid actually makes. Think of T4 as the fuel just sitting in the reserve tank. It's floating around in your blood, just waiting to be put to work. And that brings us to T3. This is the good stuff, the active hormone. When your body actually needs to burn some energy, it takes that T4 from the reserve tank and converts it into T3. T3 is what really gets the job done. It's the gas that makes your body's engine run, controlling your metabolism, energy, and even your temperature. Okay, so now we know what they're measuring. But what's it actually like to go and get the test? I've got good news for you. It's incredibly simple and nothing to worry about. When it comes to prep, there's not much to it. You probably won't even need to fast. But, and this is the most important part, always listen to what your doctor tells you. And make sure you tell them about every single thing you're taking. Medications, vitamins, supplements, you name it. Because some of them can mess with the results. And hey, if you're a little nervous, that's completely normal. A few deep breaths can work wonders. The test itself? It's so fast. Seriously. You'll check in, they'll confirm it's you, and then a healthcare professional takes a tiny sample of blood from your arm. It's usually over in a minute or two. Then that little sample goes off to the lab, and you should hear back with your results in about a week or so. So where do you even go for this? Well, it's usually really easy to find a place. For instance, if you live in a town like Kettering in the UK, you've got options. You could go to your local NHS doctor's office, or you could check out a private clinic if you wanted your results a bit faster. That kind of choice is pretty common in most places. And now the moment of truth. The results are in. You get this report, and it can look like a bunch of confusing letters and numbers. So let's figure out how to actually decode what it's trying to tell you. So here are some typical ranges you might see. For TSH, something between 0.4 and 4.0 is often considered normal. But, and listen up because this is so important, these are just a general guide. Normal can change depending on your age, your overall health, even the specific lab that ran the test. Your doctor is the only one who can really look at these numbers and tell you what they mean for you. So what happens when the numbers are outside that range? Well, it usually points to one of two things. If you have hypothyroidism, that's an underactive thyroid, you'll often see a high TSH level. Remember the manager? Your brain is basically shouting at your thyroid to get to work. On the flip side, with hyperthyroidism, an overactive thyroid, you'll usually see a really low TSH. The brain is whispering because the thyroid is already going way too fast. Okay, so you've got your results, you've got some idea of what they might mean, but that's not the end of the story. It's actually the beginning. Let's talk about what comes next and how you can get on the path to feeling your best. The very first, most important thing you need to do is book that follow-up appointment with your doctor. This is where you become a team. You'll talk through the results together and come up with a plan that's tailored just for you. Your voice really matters here. And you know what? There's a ton you can do in your everyday life too. Eating a good balanced diet with nutrients like iodine, selenium, and zinc is amazing for your thyroid. Getting regular exercise, managing stress, maybe with a little yoga or meditation, all of these things have a massive positive impact and really support whatever medical plan you're on. And this right here really says it all. You have to be an active part of your own healthcare journey. Don't ever be afraid to ask questions. If you don't understand something, ask for clarification. You are your own #1 advocate, and having a great open conversation with your doctor is absolutely key. So when you boil it all down, it's pretty simple. Your body is always communicating with you, and a lot of the time, your thyroid has the microphone. The only question left is, are you ready to listen? Thanks so much for tuning in.